Here's a couple of legends.
Ah, now we're talking. Look at that. Look at that. Now, this was 84. Now, this is getting towards the end of the era where the cars were really the big bangers. Big guards, big wheels, big proper race cars, and sheepskin seat covers.
I've been hanging on Dick all weekend about that. You'll see it in through the window. He actually raced it exactly like that in 1984. This car won the championship with Dick behind the wheel and then was running the endurance races that year. 19-inch rear wheels. And this car replaced, remember the car that ended up going through the greenery of Forest Elbow at Bathurst? This was the replacement.
One of the great pieces of vision of Australian motorsport history. Look at that. I mean, you're seeing Dick in there. That is fabulous.
And that is the legit car as it finished its last race in 1984.
I noticed Dick was quick to say he's 15 seconds quicker around here than Stevie Johnson having a little drive. Now, Steve would have got in that and got the shock of his life. I know Dick said it stops and it goes and all the rest of it, but it'd be hard work, mate. No mistake of that.
Just going by, Bo Seaton in the Capri, Jimmy Richards behind in the 635 JPS BMW. Of course, the late, great Frank Gardner ran that team so successfully. And talking to Jimmy yesterday, this is in fact the last of the 635s that he and Tony Longhurst ran.
And Jimmy will be really enjoying this. I mean, Jimmy still competes regularly and great race driver. Has one of that uncanny ability that not everyone has to jump in just about anything and drive it well. Yeah, look, I reckon he's having a little bit of a crack. He's not happy about this big pup. I reckon the clock's wound back in the brain of these blokes 25 years in a heartbeat. Yeah, a little bit of vigour there, a little bit of vigour.
Yeah, there's a little bit of a go there. Left-hand drive, German thoroughbred. Really did kick off the Group A era, and I tell you what, as a kid who grew up watching this stuff, this is spectacular. This is the 1978 Bathurst winning Peter Brock and Jimmy Richards A9X. James Brock is behind the wheel. 31 years on. I tell you what, this is special, this car. Not only being a Bathurst winner, which is special in itself, it won the Triple Crown. It won the Touring Car Championship, Sandown and Bathurst in the 1 year. And fast forward to 2009, and Will Davison and Garth Tander had the same opportunity to win the 2 Enduros and the championship in the 1 year. It's only been done by 2 men on 3 occasions.
And there's one of the cars that did it. Now, Aaron, we're talking about a little story yesterday. I recall Brock in 79 having a crack at the lap record and getting it on the last lap. But this isn't the car.
No, he did that in 79. This was the 78 car, which he did try it, though. He tried for the lap record, got balked by an Alpha across the top of the mountain, put it in the memory bank and went back 12 months later and sorted it out.
Now, having driven that place, I can't even get in perspective how you'd possibly achieve a lap record on the last. I mean, your car's had it. Outstanding achievement.
Of course, Brock won the championship narrowly over Bobby Morris in 78. The roles were reversed the next year. And this car, as Colin Bond mentioned earlier, it was the first Holden to win the championship back in 1970 with the great Norm Beachy, who of course is a Hall of Famer. He's in the V8 Supercar Grid of Champions and a regular viewer of our V8 Supercar telecasts. And he was a man who paved the way with this car.
Certainly was. And this car is meticulous. Another bout of restoration. I've had a good look at this car. It is beautifully restored. The detail, back to its original authenticity, is there in every piece. It's just magnificent.
And this was Norm's answer, really, to the Trans Am Mustangs and the Camaros and the American muscle cars. He decided, well, I'm going to go to local, built up this 350 cubic inch, 550 horsepower GTS 350 Monaro, and it really became an iconic car, and muscle car fans Australia-wide absolutely love this car, and it's been restored to fantastic condition.
Listen to that.
You know what, as a kid, having seen all the old films and pictures, only until a year ago I actually heard this car for the first time. It really blew me off my feet.
Look, I just think this is fantastic. I hope we see a lot more of this stuff. This is the core of everything we do today. These guys and these cars have been at the base. Now, look at this thing. I was a die-hard Ford fan when this thing, and you remember Bobby Morris crying? Well, there's only one bloke in Australia that was crying hard. That was me.
Bobby Morris behind the wheel of the Ron Hodgson A9X Tirana, the winner of the Touring Car Championship in 1979. Of course, he and Peter Brock had an epic run. Ron Hodgson, such a strong supporter of Bob's career, and they won Bathurst in 76 in the L34 Tirana, but they were a privateer team taking on Peter Brock and the factory Holden dealer team. Yeah, they did a wonderful job.
They did do a great job, but this was a great car. A lot of work. I mean, this is when the manufacturers took their racing really, really serious. A lot of in-house development. These were specially built for racing, these things.
Speaking of specially built, The 9 Sport Chevrolet Camaro with KB behind the wheel. They've actually had a few problems with this car this weekend, though.
They have. I actually bumped into Kevin Bartlett this morning. They'd had a brake master cylinder failure in it. And he said, where the hell do you find a brake master cylinder for a Z28 Camaro, Z29 on the Gold Coast on a Sunday morning? Bingo, we got a call, they found it, and look at that thing. You barely fit 2 cars in the screen there. Look at that. Look at that.
2-time pole sitting car at Bathurst in 80 and 81 with KB at the helm. Didn't get a result in the great race, but it's a car that everybody remembers. Probably remembers more for it being a Channel 6 Camaro than a 9 Camaro upside down in 82.
Absolutely, and I've got to say, I really like the bloke driving it. I mean, Kevin Bartlett's one of those drivers, he can jump in just about anything. He's driven and been very successful in open wheelers, but he's sort of the gentleman's racer. He knows his race cars, knows racing, understands it, mechanical sympathy for the car, great all-rounder.
Used to have the odd blue with cams about drum brakes and disc brakes. Really big.
You imagine in that era between him and Alan Moffat, old Cairns boys would have been busy.
The phones were kept up down in Camberwell in Melbourne. But what a ripper car. He battled Brock in the Touring Car Championship in 1980. But the great goal was winning the great race at Bathurst. Considering this is an American muscle car, it's still looked upon very fondly by the Australian racing public.
I reckon he's battling a left front disc wobble there as well. But I mean, remembering a lot of these cars back then, street circuit racing wasn't the thing. So these are big speeds. These guys have got to pull these big heavy cars up to little second gear corners. I mean, this is hard work for these cars, even at this speed. Oh yeah, look at that.
Wobble. You'll see Bond's name there. He drove with Kevin in 82 at Bathurst, and there's Bo Seaton in the Capri. A few little dramas there that they're going to put it back into pit lane, but that's, again, we should point out, these are all the original cars. There's no replicas, there's no recreations. They are the real deal.
Well, credit to all of these people that own these cars, because, and Bowden's in particular, because a lot of this stuff in the world sits in museums and never gets raced. These are the real cars. They've been prepared to run them, bring them out on the track, and I think they should be applauded for doing such.
And you and I discussed this over the course of the weekend. You can't put a dollar price on this. It's pretty much priceless. No,
people talk about $1 million each, but I mean, they're just irreplaceable, these cars. And as you can see, there's not 100 of them like in Europe. There's only a handful of these cars in this country that are stepping stones to where we are today.
And that's exactly what that man there, Dick Johnson, said. This was the start of what we enjoy now as the V8 Supercar Championship Series. Don't forget, we're running the Touring Car Championship, or the V8 Supercar Series, for the 50th time. I mean, that's one of the longest running touring car championships in the world, and this man, Jimmy Richards, has formed such a successful and special part of that. So the Pirtek Australian Legends have added a new dimension this weekend, winding back the clock, reliving some of the golden memories. But stick with us, we'll go racing when we come back. The Mini Challenge on the streets of Surfers.